right, for our main event. Now, mind you, it's not as bad as usual because it's a best of 3. They're not like right into a best of 1 or anything.
Best of 1 elimination, not on the line this tournament.
Not at the Supermajor.
Yeah.
Not happening.
It's in the title. It's the Supermajor.
Yeah,
so we've
you
got
don't expect
a
that.
super format.
No. But Na'Vi, they got to mix things up. I'm not feeling too great about the whole draft situation in the last game, just looking back on it. Who could do anything? It was all on Dendy basically to hit some shackle to start a fight or something.
I feel like they need something to play around. We saw the Shadow Demon be that driving force for Spirit. They need like a Spirit Breaker, a Beastmaster.
Well,
they need
one
somebody.
way they were good. Beastmaster's a good shout, but also like Bat Rider. That was like a general hero.
There
right?
you go.
And they would just go for lassos on cooldown, go for kills. Chronospheres kind of used to be a thing too for them.
Well, we've got a draft, Trent, so let's see what these teams are working on, and maybe they'll take heed to our advice.
Clearly. I mean,
maybe.
we must know something, right?
Maybe. Yeah. So Warlock, Chen, and Lesh going to be the first 3 banned out by Na'Vi, and Wisp, Clockwork, Beastmaster, the next 3 from Spirit. So, what I just said, I think Spirit kind of thinking along the same lines. Let's eliminate some of those heroes that Na'Vi can play around to get that kind of tempo.
And as much as I love Nyx Assassin as a silver tier Nyx Assassin player. I've been working on that Dota Plus here, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that sometimes you need someone who just goes in. Like, it's great to lurk around there with the Invis sometimes, but especially with the 6-minute sentries, we saw that come into play a couple times. Sometimes you just need a Sand King, man. You know? You had to go for him. You had to go for the Burrow dude. And he's left in right now, so wouldn't mind seeing him picked up in this first phase. I think he's still a very strong hero.
All right, well, the Bane still feels like very safe at opener. This is exactly what Na'Vi did in game number 1. Bane obviously can fit into a lot of drafts, but as we've talked about a couple of times, so good at mitigating the effectiveness of those early BKBs, especially on those cores that are so BKB reliant.
Man, firing to the reserve time here.
Well,
taking in their options. They could be going for a... Maybe they're thinking of a Sand King +1 sort of lineup.
So
maybe they're thinking of a Death Prophet +1 starting.
Axe was the big change of pace. Lesh was the 3rd ban from Na'Vi in the last game. Axe was the 3rd ban from Na'Vi in the last game, and here they've banned out the Lesh instead. And there it is. Spirit grabbed the Axe straight away.
Okay, kind of
pair it with the Wind Ranger.
A little bit of I guess just like known hero for them, very comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Bit of a classic, allows you to do those very irritating dual offlane combinations.
And I think it fits their style. He's aggressive very early on. He's a momentum-based snowball hero, and also a reset, right? You get that dunk. It gives your team that momentum in the team fight. I feel like those are the kind of mechanics that Spirit really like to play around. But paired with the Wind Ranger, kind of interesting. She is... Based on the games today, it's like she's kind of like the pick of the tournament. I feel like I've been seeing Wind Ranger in these first, second picks pretty consistently.
Yeah, I think this is a situation where it makes more sense to go for her early in terms of the supporting, right? That's kind of where you look to see her early is when it looks like it's going to be a good support Wind Ranger game, and already it looks fine because you've got this pairing with the Axe. So these two in a dual offlane scenario, Axe Skywrath was very powerful for a reason. You just constantly spammed Skywrath spells, you spammed the Axe spells, but in this case, you have a Wind Ranger with an Orb of Venom, who is really obnoxious. You know, she's got that nice long attack range. She's just poking you over and over, high damage to start with, and it can kind of do a little bit like the Skywrath Mage.
So this time, Na'Vi will be the ones to grab the Kunkka, deciding to give Spirit a taste of their own medicine. Kind of curious how they'll choose to lane it. Could be a support Kunkka, could be a core Kunkka, could be Dendy in the mid. A lot of flexibility with this pick. So I like that Na'Vi are not locking themselves into anything too hard.
Yeah, just a solid hero.
Yeah.
I think the core role has looked a lot better, though.
I think so, too.
So
he seems difficult. He reminds me a little bit about of Bloodseeker in that mid lane. Where
it's very similar.
He puts on a lot of pressure. He's very hard to shut down, and it's just not a fun laning experience.
No,
even if you are breaking even, he's very hard to lane.
Because you're like, oh, it's a melee hero. I mean, how good can he be in lane? And then it's like, oh, my God.
Yeah, it's like with anyone, he's got a free setup with X-Torrent. He has that setup even if he goes for the Tidebringer build. You don't have the range on X to get those crazy initiations, but in the context of that mid lane that's pretty close quarters, you only need 1 point.
Yeah. So I think
there's that Skywrath ban you were talking about.
He's crying away there, wailing in pain of not being picked up here. I would maybe consider looking for one of those stronger laners early on in the draft just to maybe take away that mid Kunkka. I feel like he's just way stronger there. So that I would really have that in my mind right now if I was Team Spirit. Like, all they've revealed is Bane and Kunkka, so in my head I'm just looking at that Kunkka like, don't really want to give you a good
Well,
Kunkka
I was
game.
thinking versatile, not only support versus core, but in the core role. You know, it could be Bane Kunkka as a dual off lane with Kunkka being the leading farmer. Safe lane Kunkka, probably not so much. But I think he could play a 3 role if your dual lane makes sense, right?
I'll allow it, but no.
Okay, fine.
It's a solid try. Really
It's a
put the
swing
effort
and
in
miss.
there.
Well, you know.
So we get Ban into position 5, likely. The Disruptor, I think,
Ooh.
on the table, right? You already have the Axe.
Yeah.
Always a pretty good pickup against the Bane.
Big time comfort pick for Spirit as well.
The
I
only
like the
problem is
Disruptor
that
a lot.
it does limit your position 1s theoretically. You might need a stronger hero because Disruptor can, you know, he's not. It's not his favorite thing to have a bunch of dual lanes. Okay,
Well,
Jakiro,
they
even
take Jackie.
fine. It's like a shorter cooldown on your stacking ability with the Axe, and it doesn't put you into any sort of a problem with your position 1 hero. You can just use Liquid Fire. You can use your Dual Breath. Get out of my lane.
Right.
Leave my carry alone.
Absolutely. I like it. And it also gives them some sieging power. That's something we constantly go back to in these drafts. That was a key part of Spirit last game, right? The Razor being able to get that Ags refresher helped them seal the deal.
What else is great is that it can also dual offlane with an Axe, too, which can open up this Wind Ranger for the mid lane, potentially. And then you can just pick a different hero to go with your position 1. So very open stuff here from Team Spirit right now.
Wind Ranger, absolutely a G hero. He's a player pretty notorious for his mechanical skills in the mid lane. Loves heroes like Shadow Fiend, and I think he's played quite a bit of Wind Ranger in his day. Is now Beastmaster. Picked up, I said Beastmaster. I meant to say Brewmaster. The other master, the other BM for Na'Vi, the big boy that can split into the baby pandas. Probably their offlaner.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure now to either find some burst or a silence here from Spirit to try and deal with this Brewmaster.
Yeah. Smart pick because they banned out that Skywrath for other reasons. That is one of the better counters against the Brewmaster. It is a good pick, though. I think last game they could have used a hero like this to help break up that mid-game a little bit more. You can fight around the ultimate. It is a hero that can help mobilize your team to action.
Bit of a general classic there as well. So
unfortunately, it means it won't be the off-lane Kunkka, though, Trent. So.
No, sadly. I mean, maybe another day.
Maybe another day. Now Slark snagged up for Spirit. So another very mobile core. Definitely going to be their safe laner.
And Brewmaster, I mean, if you guys have ever laned against a Brewmaster, he's really irritating. He just keeps drunken hazing you over and over. Only certain heroes can deal with that. Slark's one of them. He can just purge it off, go for the kill.
Oh, right. Dark Pact. That spell. Yeah, it's pretty darn good in the lane, isn't it?
It's pretty good. It's mostly for kill opportunities, though. You don't really want to just lower your HP the whole time. But with a Jakiro there, too, it could look good. But there is the watery boy. We've seen a couple times today. Ramsey's making it look pretty damn good.
Yeah. So Morphling feels like a pretty strong hero overall. The ultimate, very versatile, allows you to just be a difficult hero to lock down. Definitely a hero that needs a lot of space, though. And I worry just conceptually the way we know Spirit likes to play, the way they played in the first game. They're going to see this Morphling, and I think their game plan is going to be pressure. Let's not give this guy space to farm. If he's farming, that means we're taking objectives elsewhere. This is going to be tough for the Morphling. Definitely a good pick, but Na'Vi are going to have to protect him so he can get those early items and really come online, because Morph is so susceptible to those early ganks, certainly before level 6 and before that Linken's comes out.
Yeah, and again, silence is just the value has gone up once again. I don't know if it's enough to make them want to try out the Death Prophet. They'll have to see the last pick from Na'Vi first.
Did pick a silencer earlier today. Can it fit into this draft at all?
I mean, theoretically it could, but I don't know if you really need. I would maybe want a silence that's more effective in a sense. I know his name's Silencer, but he can only do it so often.
Something a little more spammable.
It's a pretty big cooldown.
So you mean more like that Death Prophet silence?
Yeah, Death Prophet, Pucks, heroes like that, an Orchid Builder perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, you got yourself a support Prophet player.
Wouldn't be the worst time. What about Doom? Is that crazy for Spirit here?
No, it's not that wild.
It's still in the pool.
Doom, Wind Ranger mid,
Jakiro
Slark.
Yeah, I mean,
Doom against Brewmaster, Doom against Morphling. You know, you might be onto something here, buddy. That's not bad. I'll give you that one. That's way better than off-lane Kunkka.
All right, now that one I will agree with. But they banned the DP, so it's along the similar lines we're talking about, getting rid of one of those silences. And Na'Vi, unfortunately for them, will have to pick their final hero first, so Spirit will be able to be a bit more reactionary.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't go for the DP in the space of the Slark, just because of like how good it seemed against the Brewmaster too with that silence. But at the same time, DP can have problems against Kunkka. You know, you get comboed down before the Eon Disc and you just blow up. There's issues there. So They did delay it, and they will be punished with the ban there. So I don't think you want to go into like a puck lineup here.
Oh, we're back to the puck, aren't we?
Hey, if you're feeling confident, go for it. The other option is the G Lena, the absolute legend, the classic, the original Shadow Blade Lena.
You know, you're absolutely right. I forgot about that.
That's a pretty good one if they don't want to run the Wind Ranger.
I'm still pretty confident it's going to be the G Wind Ranger, but that is a really good suggestion.
My problems would be the Wind Ranger is going to suffer because likely a Lincoln's for the Morphling. You have to like shack off of something else.
You know, they could G Silencer
and they just
mid.
need damage.
He has played that a number of times.
Why wouldn't you just get Lena? Lena's just better. Blow him up. Why silence him? You just kill him.
I'm getting into head of the player here, Trent. All right, this is a team that likes Silencer more than any other team at this tournament. All right, that is a fact.
That's a fact. You can check the numbers. It's a fact.
Well, Nahaz is here. I'll ask him about the numbers after this game.
All right,
but
sounds good.
I'm just saying, G has played core Silencer mid more than most other pro players.
That's not a hard number to beat.
Well, hey man, he stands apart from the pack. But we'll see. Na'Vi kind of struggling to decide what they want with this final pick, though. What will it be?
Do we keep our Kunkka mid? Do we pick a Dendi hero? The Tinker was a pretty nice band, though.
Yeah, definitely.
The old Broodling thing. Oh, they'll steal the Lena.
They grab the Lena. So a Dendi Lena mid. That means it's a support Kunkka this time instead of the core Kunkka. But Kunkka Bane, a great support duo. We've seen kind of a classic.
I figured we'd get a Lena this game, but I was really feeling it was going to be G. I thought for sure. Right at the start of this draft, I thought that's what they were going to go for.
So when they pick Silencer here, are you buying me dinner tonight? Or is that going to be
down, buddy.
Somebody else?
I'll give it to you.
What else could it be, though? Any other thoughts about this final? Is there some sort of curveball with these lanes that we haven't thought of yet?
I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's either support Wind Ranger or core Wind Ranger.
Yeah, that's pretty much
up
what
against the
we're
Lena
with.
mid. Do whatever you want. You want to pick a Bloodseeker?
That's kind of a wash matchup, isn't it? Lena, Wind Ranger. They take the Shadow Demon again, so it will be the mid Wind Ranger.
Yep.
And FNG will once again take his Shadow Demon Beaver.
Really nice.
The Jakiro.
Find another combo there with the Jakiro, and even the Axe is kind of decent in the combo setting there too.
Yeah,
so
yeah, sure.
They man, really nice 3-hero opener I think from Team Spirit. Left a lot kind of just open for their draft, and it's not even like the bad kind of open where I'm like, well, this could be support or core. It's kind of like, yeah, this could be support or core, and I'd feel good about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like you just throw it in there because you kind of have to.
It's not like well, the Kunkka could go in any lane.
Yeah, he could go in the
I definitely hear you on that one. Okay, so which draft do you prefer? Do you think Spirit have the tools to handle this Morphling, or do you think Na'Vi are going to be able to take us to a Game 3 here, Trent?
Well, what I see is what happened last game with the Wind Ranger and how is that going to change. So Wind Ranger needs to be more active, has to get some kills going, but you need some help. You can't do it all on your own. And he has more assistance. You know, he's got an Axe who's going to be able to be a little bit more active, a little bit more in there than maybe the Nyxas was necessarily able to get done in that game. And then he also has a Slark, a position 1 who wants to rotate in. This isn't a Gyrocopter that wants some levels and some gold and then wants to go hit up the jungle for a bit. This is the Slark who's like, I want my item and I want to kill people.
Yeah.
And that's what Wind Ranger is there to help with.
Yeah, this is going to be I got my Shadow Blade. Boys, it's hunting season. Yeah. Let's go.
Now,
exactly.
If I was on Na'Vi's side, though, you know, this is the hero that they go to when they got to win some Dota games. They get the Dendi Lena. You know, this is what they've been going back to time and time again, try and pull them out of a bad spot. So
you're absolutely right.
How do we make Dendi work this game? We got to be really cautious about our ultimates for general. We got to be trying using this thing on the clock, get stuff going, create tons of space on that north side of the map. Take them away from Crystallize. You know, you watched that VP game earlier. What was VP doing? They were fighting all up top. They were playing to win. They were fighting in that top tier 1 the whole time, and Ramsey was just hitting creeps.
Yeah.
Every creep is like a quarter of a kill.
Now, I do like this adjustment from Crystallize because Spirit did pretty much the same thing. 4-hero smoke, they wrapped around the trees looking for that safe lane carry. Crystallize a little bit close to the danger zone, but this time he stayed back. They didn't see any heroes up top, and he just moved into that mid lane. No first blood, Trent.
No.
This is already an improvement from the last match. But will there be a lane rotation here from Na'Vi? Is this actually going to be an aggro try? It looks like it. General's got the Brewmaster position down bottom, and I think they want to take this Kunkka Bane Morphling lane up to the top.
Yeah, they're trying to maybe get themselves away from that Axe Jakiro, sort of a spam or something like that. Just try and give your Morphling a little bit of a good start. At the same time, they also want to pressure the Slark, so Should be interesting if these two are going to indeed collide or if Illidan's just going to run away.
Now the question, though, is will Spirit pull the rotation? We talked about that Slark versus Brewmaster matchup, and that is absolutely what Spirit are hoping for out of these lanes. So both sides reading each other pretty well. In the mid, FNG has made that rotation already. So it is sort of the one outlier in this laning stage, but we'll see that TP up top as they realize Slark is not going to be having a fun time against 3 heroes.
Yeah, it's even worse once you bring in this support like this, too, because now he's just not even getting the experience all to himself. It's just, you really got to win this lane if you're going to start committing some heroes.
Yeah.
Or you got to get Illidan the hell out. So, Jakiro's up here now. It is indeed time to go. Saw in the mid lane, too.
Oh, the setup in the top lane, right onto Crystallize. The pounce from Illidan does connect, but do they have the damage to find this kill? It's going to be close, and they've got it. Illidan draws the first blood. Bonus gold goes the way of Slark.
That's not a good way to start your lane.
No, Slark killing Morphling.
Slark.
No. Yeah, it's bad if your Morphling dies first, and it's bad if the Slark gets the kill. It's bad if both of those happen. That's like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, that's over a 1K lead for a moment there for Team Spirit. It triples back down there, but.
So they are going to leave the lanes, at least for now. It's an Axe versus Brewmaster in the bottom. I think Axe is pretty okay with this matchup. Back up in the top lane, some damage being exchanged. Right clicks on the way to Beaver. Who actually has the better tri-lane here? I think both sides have atypical tri-lanes, you could say.
I would say definitely Jakiro and Shadow Demon I would rather have with me.
Yeah, the Jakiro's pretty nasty in these situations. The AoE dual breath, you hit 2 heroes with that thing, and you're feeling pretty good in those team fights.
Like, Kunkka Bane, well, Kunkka especially is so about, like, the one-shot, you know? It's like you want 100 to 0. You just want to, like, completely kill someone. It's not really a harass type.
That's true. Now Illidan
will might work,
initiated on, pounce back, and they don't have the burst damage. They might be able to kill FNG instead. Does have a couple of stick charges here, but doesn't get it off in time.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Jakiro was off to the side pulling, so way to take advantage there from Na'Vi. Jakiro definitely the scarier of the two supports, too. So when he's the one that's over pulling is certainly when you want to get aggressive.
Yeah. And down bottom, Axe really pulling ahead in this lane. Both Brewmaster and Axe tend to be pretty good against in the melee matchups, but Axe just reigning supreme is up top. We'll see Lil initiated on, Shadow Demon into the dual breath from the Jakiro, and my friend, you are absolutely right. That duo is nasty, and the Bane will pay with his life. Crystallize, able to waveform back, but dual breath connects on 2, and Kunkka could be in some trouble here. Does get off a decent torrent, able to survive as Bane is actually respawned, TP'd to the tower. Nightmare. Now a little hot potato here from Spirit. Nicely done as they toggle it back and forth, and they go for a setup on Lil again. Now Illidan, stick charges, needs to be a little careful. X into Torrent, but gets the stick off in time. A lot of low health heroes on the side of Na'Vi.
Yeah.
But unable to secure the kills.
That's the problem with Kunkka, too. Like, when it's used defensively like that and you're not committing for a full kill, it uses half his mana pool, and it does 75 damage.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's not spammable.
No.
You're chewing through mangoes a little quicker than you'd like. Your pancreas isn't going to be happy with that one.
G's game is already set to be so much better than Dendy's, though. And it's going to look like it's like, oh, Dendy's awful, and G's so great on Wind Ranger. Like, look, they both played the same hero. But no, this Axe has a free lane.
Yep.
He's going to have an Axe with a Vanguard into a Blink Dagger and some stupid timing, and he can just play around that and have such a nice time.
And what's the flip side of that, right? Na'Vi are not going to have the Brewmaster with that early Blink Dagger, that free Vlads right away. I mean, he's getting experience, and in some ways that is sort of what the Brewmaster wants out of the laning stage more so than farm, but he also does really want farm alongside that XP. I think even more pressure on General to make those first couple brew splits really count.
Yeah, and as well on Denny and the Laguna Blades, too, because Crystallize will not be helping, really. Yeah, he's heading to that lane far away from everyone else.
Absolutely. So things settling down up top at least a little bit. Kunkka hiding in the tree line, maybe looking for an opportunity to initiate. This mid lane still very even for now, though. So we were talking about in the draft, both Wind Ranger and Lina, pretty comparable in their ability to harass, find last hits, and G is slightly getting the better of Dendy, but really not by much.
Yeah, it's so similar. They both just buy raindrops. They both just span the wave from the last hits. You know.
Yep. It's like they both have a little bit of kill potential, but that makes it sort of a wash, so they're both forced to play a little bit more back in the lane. You know, you're dodging the Dragon Slaves, you're dodging the power shots. It's as close to a mirror matchup as you'll get in this current meta, I think.
You know, it's extremely disappointing that Beaver doesn't have the Jakiro taunt, because Jakiro and Kunkka have the 2 best musical taunts.
You know,
he doesn't have it on the hero.
That is true. They could be playing a musical tune right now.
They could. They could be like a band up here.
And, Illidan, speaking of the band, is he the drummer that gets left behind? No. He will be the lead singer this game. But Illidan not farming. Actually, he's farming pretty well. He's got 21 CS, 20 on the Morphling. They're trading evenly. 2-1. This is favoring Spirit, but I think a lot of their advantage is just coming from that bottom lane. That's the big disparity. Everything else is pretty darn even.
Yeah, it's okay. We're gonna go for it here. We got the first split coming up top here.
Okay, X Torrent onto Illidan, but he will pounce back to safety. Sleep on the Shadow Demon, gets off the disruption. He's just going to try to TP out. It's going to be close, but it's a great heads-up play from FNG.
That ward, man. It spotted the rotation in from the Brewmaster.
Oh my, this is costly. So the Brewmaster's TP'd up. They're forced to rotate Crystallize down bottom. Not ideal. I guess the one upside is that he didn't use the split, so they still have it available. But
the whole idea is that you want that level 6. Like, this is very common, right? When you put the safe lane, off lane down there, you want to rotate up at 6, get a kill, and then swap. You take the lane up there, you pressure the tower, you play in the dangerous zone, give Crystallize back into the safe area.
Right.
But you really want that kill. It feels way better when you come up there and make a play happen. You know, you wipe 2 or 3 heroes with that ultimate, whole different game.
Right. And on top of that, Spirit are reacting. I mean, they're moving heroes down bottom. They are not going to let this Morphling free farm for long. They know that he is a high priority, and they are going to continue to make his life difficult.
I find it interesting they brought the Slark down, though.
Yeah. Beaver is just going to be solo up top, so they're going to give some space to the Jakiro. Only level 3 right now, but he'll be soaking up some experience. Yeah, we were pretty confident they wanted to match Slark up against the Beastmaster.
I think the issue was that in terms of, like, he's 3 levels up on him, right? And then he always has the threat of the split. And so if you ever try and kill him, he's going to get split off. He'll just kill Slark.
That's true. The way the lane started now, they can't.
But it's just like, oh, I guess
you
DK Phobos is just here.
Same logic the other way. Phobos is level 7 compared to the level 4 Crystallize. Morphling can't really do that much. Axe can just zone him out this way. The Battle Hunger, very irritating. It's only level 1. He did go max counter Helix, but Morph can't get close enough to dispel it.
Yeah, and so in the end, it's going to be Jakiro just getting experience up top, which is pretty great. Axe will just clean up the neutral camps while he can, and also keep pressuring this Morphling to create a disparity between the Slark and the Morph.
Down bottom, Crystallize, able to waveform back to safety. Nice little mechanic advantage there over the Slark. But now Lil, he might be the one that gets caught. Nice Nightmare onto Phobos. That slows things down a little bit. FNG wakes up from the Nightmare, heading back to friendly territory. Waveform is available, but Na'Vi not going to jump the gun. So it is a try-on-try now, just moving down to the safe lane. And we've got a pretty similar setup, although they've traded out the Axe to Jakiro. Yeah,
I will say I don't really like the idea of this Axe being slowed down, though. I would like to see him just back on full waves, kind of, and getting towards that Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Vanguard's great, but early Blink with the Vanguard is pretty gross.
It's very true. This early Vanguard, though, does end up being a farming tool for him. Spending time in the jungle is FNG, the one initiated on. Who's going to get caught, though? The Shadow Demon trying to make it back. His Axe is asleep. Slark clicking down Lil. They will go 1-for-1. Crystallize now caught by the taunt. This Morphling's in a lot of trouble. The dunk interrupted by the Torrent, but it's not going to be enough. And the position 1 from Na'Vi will bite the bullet and head straight to the grave.
So even in last hits, but not in gold now. It's about a 400 gold edge there for the Slark over that Morphling, and he looking to take his team up ahead.
Look at this up top. Phobos just diving down past generally, might find a solo kill here, and he does! Just like that, the Brewmaster falls.
Still no opportunity for a split. Painful stuff there.
Yeah. Just like that, now back to the bottom lane. The Kunkka Velor in a lot of trouble. He goes down 6-2 now as Spirit get a lot of momentum around the map. You are worried about that Axe being slowed down, but seems like there is nothing stopping the red man right now.
You had to say something, didn't you?
I did.
You had to say something.
I did. Hey,
what's your problem?
You wouldn't give me the Kunkka. I'm not giving you the Axe here, pal, but actually they might kill him right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
3-on-1, and yeah, that Kunkka, he's going to grab
Nothing
it.
slowing him down. Just a rotation there, easy kill.
Well, they had to rotate 3 heroes, and now down bottom, what's that? Morphling, only level 5. He's going to be in some trouble. That's a setup from FNG. The Ice Path is there. He does waveform back, and he will survive, but they are really slowing down this Morphling's ability to farm.
Yeah. Not having the best time here. Now maybe a little bit of pressure on the tower, too. 2 points in Liquid Fire from Beaver.
And Axe is actually, he's not going to go right blink. He's going into the Hooded Defiance first. So just going pure survivability. I guess feeling like, you know, why get a blink when I can just run out?
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that.
It's 50-50. I
feel like blink lets you pressure the Morphling.
Yeah.
Whereas the Hood kind of lets you pressure towers more and play with your team. So I guess that's just what he feels like is going to be more effective in this game.
Yeah. I mean, there has been a fair bit of skirmishing already, so I understand the temptation for sure. Illidan, his basic kit complete now. Ring of Aquila, the wand, the treads. I'm going to be moving towards that Shadow Blade. Does not have it queued up yet, but we'll be shocked if we see him vary away from that pretty core item build. Meanwhile, smoke rotation now from Na'Vi. Almost finding the courier there, but not quite. Wrap around from the backside. Beaver will break the smoke. There's the Bruce split. He uses it early to make sure they get it off. They isolate the Jakiro, drop the stun on Illidan, but he just uses the Dark Pact Shadow Dance and tries to head back to safety, and he will. Bruce split down to about 2 seconds left, and it's a pretty darn lackluster first Bruce split here at the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, they tried the morph onto the Slark, too, for a pounce play. That didn't work out.
Well, this is really a tough game for General. You know, in the last couple fights, it's like, oh, you should have just split earlier. And in that one, all right, I'm going to use it plenty early, and they just run away from it. Down bottom again, they initiate onto Crystallize. No kill with the waveform back, but still not getting much space to hit those creeps.
The old sad Morphling.
Very sad Morphling.
There's really just none of that pressure that you're looking at. Oh, careful here with a DD rune.
Double damage. Does need to be a little careful himself. He's going to that Maelstrom, just the Javelin with his power treads.
He probably would have got that kill if he didn't get hazed. I think it's the only reason he didn't go for the shackle play.
Yeah. A little scary with Lena nearby, knowing that she has a Laguna. Always a lot of kill potential there. Oh, Morphling looking for the Lincolns first. Actually had treads queued up and now swapped it out for BOTs.
Yeah, it's a farming game.
It is a farming game, but Slark, and he's going to get brought down. Nicely done by the Kunkka. Catches him there despite the Shadow Dance, and Illidan gets brought down. Big kill for Na'Vi, exactly what they needed.
Yeah, certainly a problem for the Slark this game, no question. Support Kunkka, one of the advantages. 4 points early in the X, very long range, undispellable.
Yeah. Very irritating. Maybe not the last time that'll happen this game, but FNG looking for some vengeance for his fallen comrade. Kunkka going to be left all alone, and G kind of dancing in circles as he gives him that focus fire and secures another kill.
Yeah, tree shackle not exactly needed there, eh? What's our split at now? 13 seconds, pressuring into the tower. General wants rotations.
I am not sold on these BOTs here. Morphling in a lot of trouble. He does survive the initial onslaught. Axe trying to position himself so that he can maybe find another Berserker's Call, but Bane's rotated now, and the Nightmare does break up that fight enough to keep the Morphling alive. Meanwhile, in the top lane, General kind of cutting the wave. He does have a split, might be forced to use it as Illidan. Continues to lay in the right clicks, but there are reinforcements from Na'Vi. Crystallized has rotated up. And Slark maybe getting caught again here by the Kunkka. The boat connects, but he does get off the Shadow Dance. No pounce. He's getting low, and he will fall. Crystallized gets credit for that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one to get from full HP, but that's exactly what General was trying to do. He pinged up top. He said, look, I want to start a fight up here. You know, I have my split ready.
Oh, mid lane. DK Phobos catches an initiation and sets it up for G. Easy shackle and a few right clicks get that kill on the Bane.
Look at that smart man. You see that? He bought the Hood and the ring, and he said, oh, shit, guys, if I just buy Blink, I think we win.
You're right.
So he just stopped and bought a Blink.
The pivot play. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, even just the casual cloak, I think, would have been fine, too. So.
Yeah.
No, all good here. Hood, I'm sure, will come in no time and creates a nice little opportunity for G to get some pressure going.
Yeah. I was really nervous about Crystallized committing to the BOTs, but dodging that death in the bottom lane against the Axe, then rotating up top and finding a kill in exchange, He's almost there, and now I think he's going to be able to make it. But imagine if the Axe had found that kill, and you're stuck on those brown boots ring. That's where you can, the inverse snowball can happen, and that's really what I was concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, though, like, if he builds anything else, what's going to happen? If he buys a Lincoln's, he can't fight. If he buys a Lincoln's, it doesn't save him from Axe hunting him across the map. I mean, so really his only option is bots.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking just treads for the stats so that you can survive long enough to get your team there to break things up. You know, if you get initiated on, you just need to survive long enough to not get dunked.
You want some more attack speed against that Axe? Is that what you're looking for?
No, I want some strength against the Axe. That's really what I'm looking for there. But that's a fair point, yeah. The attack speed definitely not synergistic when you're fighting against an Axe. That's a fair point. Rotation onto G, perhaps. A couple heroes smoke now from Na'Vi.
Yeah, G's playing really safe because they just took down that tier 1 bottom lane and no one responded.
Yep.
So
that's usually a sign that there may be a rotation afoot. Regen rune also spawns up top here at the 16-minute mark. G about to get wrapped on. There's the X. They will have the combo, but Spirit have some reinforcements. Nice disruption buys G some time, and instead they turn on to Bane. Lil very low, falling quickly, and will be the first casualty of this fight, but they do secure the kill on the Wind Ranger that they came for. Finally, a Bruce split that pays off, but 60 minutes, that's only the first one. Now Phobos, though, he catches that taunt onto the Brew. No split to keep him alive, and a slam dunk will make this a 1-for-2 favoring Team Spirit.
Well, it was almost worth it. They just want that kill and get out. They want attack, full rotations from Team Spirit, pick one off, and run away. You know, use your boat, kill somebody, run away. Create space for Morphling. Every time all 5 heroes TP to that mid lane, Morphling's like, perfect, I can farm. It's okay, I can show on the map.
And he is really recovering. 6,100 net worth. He's got the BOTs up so he can capitalize on that space no matter where it is. Things looking okay for Na'Vi, especially compared to the state we were at last game. 3K net worth, 17 minutes. It's a small lead for Spirit, but very manageable for Na'Vi to start getting control, especially as this Morphling starts getting closer to it. But, oh, speak of the devil, down bottom, Shackle connects. It is only a level 1 Shackle shot still, so not a huge disable. But they pull 4 heroes of Na'Vi down bottom while Phobos clears out this stack in the dire jungle.
Yeah, well, Illidan has finally become his hero there with the Shadow Blade. He spots out a ward as well. How irritating. Thank you, Slark. Ruining the lives of supports everywhere. And the removal of that ward will make it a little bit more difficult for General to just kind of like play that little triangle up top, control those camps, go up into the lane, easy farming patterns, taken away there.
Yeah. Dendi also now with the Yule Scepter up on Lina, Shadow Blade queued up, not a big surprise there, but going for some mobility items so he can find those initiations. Does feel like Dendi's been a little quiet this game. 18 minutes, he's 1-0-1, but 118 CS. So he has spent a lot of time hitting creeps and still has a pretty decent economy. Right there in the middle of the pack, still maintaining an edge over the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, on the one hand, he hasn't been picked off. On the other hand, he hasn't really been using those Laguna Blades or using that Yule Scepter. You know, since he got it, 1,300 gold, hasn't really found many nice opportunities with it. So wouldn't mind a smoke here. Kind of looks like that's what they're setting up for.
Yep, certainly does. Bane's got one in the inventory. Some of that sticky icky, and they will do a 4-hero smoke with Crystallize left to himself. Perseverance now
well.
up. Oh, they also did smoke there.
Yeah, he just started hitting Ancients. So.
Gotcha. Okay, 3 heroes smoked
up.
up.
That scan had just missed the Slark. Will Illidan show on the wave?
A lot harder to catch now that he's got the Shadow Blade. Very smart. Uses it, kind of senses this rotation coming, sees Dendi, makes the call and says, guys, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Or does he want to try a backstab and actually fight at the tower? I mean, you have a Blink Axe, you have a Jakiro. If you know the fight's coming, he's going to go all the way home. So that to me says we're not fighting.
Yeah, he heads back, grabs that Ogre Axe. It's Jakiro that TP'd to the tier 2, hiding in the tree line.
Well, they're still going to be able to get here in time. General forward posture, but looks like without a quick pick to start it off, they are just out of here. The waves are at the tower bottom, at the tower mid, so they're going to back.
Slark smoked up. Smoke gets broken. Crystallize, General, and Lil all right nearby as General jumps in. Nice clap. Bruce split comes out. And it's a good counter initiation as the boat flies, but Axe catches a call right into a Fiend's Grip from Lil. It's a very chaotic fight, but it is Dendy that finds the first kill. Illidan goes down, Lil survives, and now it's the Axe that gets caught by a Torrent. FNG keeps him alive. They've killed Lil on the back line, but an X now comes onto FNG as G gets brought down. Shakiro with an Ice Path does break things up a little bit, but it's not enough. It's a 3-for-1, a disastrous fight for Team Spirit.
Yeah, it looked like
it's gonna be 4 now.
Spirit maybe thought they were going to catch like 1 or 2 heroes. Like maybe some people would have TP'd out. Someone was still there at the neutral camps. You're trying to smoke in and grab somebody, but they all stayed. And Dendy just perfect LSA. Catching that Slark completely just ended that fight.
And just like that, it's a 2,200 net worth swing. Still a 2K gold lead for Spirit, but that makes a big dent, and this Morphling, who wasn't really getting much space before, is now really starting to come online. Lincoln Spear just a recipe away, and then he's got the E-Blade queued up after that. Meanwhile, Radiant Jungle, Phobos, looking aggressive, but will head back to friendly territory as both sides, a lot of counter-warding action. FNG kills the Vision. Those sentries just barely in range of each other.
Yeah, we've seen Velor just like X himself back to the fountain a couple times now, just buy a bunch of sentries. He just DD's back like, oh yeah, I just need an observer. Let me put that inventory, and away I go.
Gotta love it. Phobos grabs Lil. Again, a chaotic fight ready to break out as Dendy sets up on the Shadow Demon, but they've already lost their Bane. Nice disruption, keeps it from being a 1-for-1, and FNG will actually survive through this onslaught. Now a 4-on-5, Spirit looking to pursue as Phobos blinks forward, catches the Berserker's call. Brewmaster getting very low. G takes the Laguna, and he'll go down, but they found the kill on General. Slark also going to get killed, but the dunk on Velor. Still an advantageous fight for Spirit. But Crystallize and Dendy still standing, might be able to clean this up even more. FNG with another nice disruption. Pinging out on Dendy, does have a Soul Catcher. Nope, okay, never mind.
Nope, looks like we'll just be able to back away there, but
that'll be the end of it.
I like the way Na'Vi played that, actually, where they kind of like collapsed in. Like Dendy had a chance to just kill the Shadow Demon right at the start, but he just held his Laguna Blade because he wanted a more important target, and he's able to bring down the Wind Ranger instead. And with the total recap there, it was still a slight lead for Na'Vi in the end, just because of the comeback hold. But there was, on the other hand, 1,000 more experience to the Dire. So, weighing those two against each other, we're actually going to hand the Spirit. Because 1,000 experience, that's quite a bit.
It is. The problem for Spirit, though, is it just feels like Slark is not able to do much. He's picked up this Ogre Axe a while ago and hasn't really made any item progression since then. Past these last few skirmishes, now the Morphling's 2K net worth up on the Slark. So things are starting to shift.
You're looking to see him get on top of that Morphling and just start going, you know, with that Essence, getting some damage, but the LSA covering over the Morphling, Denny's doing a great job of just overlapping his carry to make sure he's kind of protected in that sense, and then as well as the boat, it's also catching out the Slark. The X is something he always has to be worried about. He's got a couple of problems this game.
There's just too much burst damage right now, and I think that Ogre Axe will turn into a BKB, and that'll definitely help the Slark out quite a bit. But until then, we may see Spirit just kind of avoid fighting. I think the same thing for G. These last couple of fights, he's been bursted down surprisingly fast, and a lot of that has been from the magical damage.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's not a bad thing that your Axe is at like 11K, but is that really the hero that you're looking at, you know? Especially, as you said, if they want to start maybe avoiding some fights or they're not feeling as confident, that's not really Axe's thing. Axe he kind of needs to fight, so if that's your leading net worth, you kind of got to go with like that core.
Yeah, and they know this Morphling is catching up now. They're already having trouble killing him. Lincoln's BOT's level 15. I would say the Morphling's over that first hump. You know, still has a little ways to go, but the very difficult part is over. 14-12.
Yeah, game feels really good for Na'Vi at this point.
Much more even than last game.
And any game that's going even at 25 minutes when you have the Morphling is feeling pretty good in your favor.
Yeah, no doubt there as that mid-tier one goes
DD
down.
rune, the only way any lineup can do Roche that people draft right now.
The old classic, Trent.
Nobody drafts Roche heroes. There are none that get picked right now.
No
so you need the DD rune.
Even like Medallion, not a very popular item right now, but this is turning into the old classic. DD rune outside of Roche. turns a relatively risky venture at 25 minutes into no big deal. We took it down before they could react. They did lose a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, so this does open up the Radiant jungle a little bit. Maybe some more space for Illidan to farm and also pressure that Morphling, but still good for Na'Vi. That'll be Aegis up on the Morphling.
Still doesn't enable that much aggression for them. By the time he gets that Eagle Song completed and he's right into the E-Blade, then it'll be okay. But likely that our Aegis will be winding down at that point. Would like to see maybe one fight taken, perhaps baiting out the Morphling, farming a little bit deep near those bottom towers, and see if you can create something with the General there. And looks like that's what they're going to do. The line's drawn from General. I mean, it's kind of an obvious play, especially if I'm the one who's dictating that's what they're about to do. So clearly it's pretty obvious, but I think it's still fine. You know, you still want to make use of this Aegis, right?
Yeah. And they've shown that even without the Morphling, I mean, he'll be in the fight, but without him really playing a driving role, they've got plenty of lockdown, plenty of burst to find these kills. Similar to last game, it seems like Na'Vi have so many ways to initiate the fights, whether it's with an X, whether it's with a Lina stun, or even just a Nightmare into Fiend's Grip setup. So many more ways to start these initiations, where Spirit, they're really relying on this Axe to get things started, then they can use the follow-up of their team to find those kills. But if the wrong hero gets jumped on, it's a lot more difficult. Not able to play around the Shadow Demon as easily as they were in that first match.
Well, with the Morphling down bottom, they actually rotate up top. They saw that Jakiro and thought, ooh, easy food if we can just get a single X on top of him, but he backs away in time. Yep. And they'll bring Morph up here too, all within vision. So they just showed Brewmaster, Kunkka, and Morphling on that wave top by the tower.
Yeah. BOT's absolutely turned out to be the right item here for Crystallize. He's now #1 on net worth. He's surpassed the Axe.
And look at that line from Dendi too. The second, or sorry, from G, from like the second they see those rotations all up top, they want to try and pressure bottom. They say, look, if they're going for a tier 2 top lane, let's try and pressure the tier 3. You know, even if we don't get racks here, whatever, we take that tier 3, shrines are gone, and they've just completely forfeited their jungle at that point.
Yeah.
They're not quite pushing it fast enough, though.
It's going to be tough. The tier 2 up top still pretty healthy. No glyph available for Spirit. And I think this tower
feels like they're just not
going to fall.
You know, they're not going for anything on Team Spirit. Supports are just sitting mid. G's alone down bottom. He just has to back and hit neutrals. They get 0 trade out of this. Like, they can't fight the Aegis. They can't split push fast enough, and they're kind of just committed to sitting high ground.
Well, they are going to take an initiation onto the Morphling to try to repel from the tier 3. Na'Vi thinking twice before just charging up to the high ground. You see again on that mini-map.
Yeah, it's General now saying, listen, let's push out this damn lane. We have an Aegis. I want to take those towers bottom.
Yep, certainly a good time to start grabbing those objectives. I think Spirit are okay to play a little bit defensive right now. The game is even in terms of net worth, just starting to swing in favor of Na'Vi a little bit as the Morphling continues to farm. He is basically at the E-Blade. Eagle Song just 200 gold off. I think Spirit will probably continue to stay a little passive till we see more BKBs come out as well. It seems to me like, you know, one of the hallmarks of this team for me is their checked aggression. They play aggressive when they have the advantage. This is a moment where they're making the call, guys, we don't need to be aggressive right now. We need to get our core items, and when we have those items, then we're going to take the fight and we're going to break this game wide open. And I think that's why they're playing so defensive right now. Slark has his BKB, Wind Ranger has hers, and Axe is 1,000 gold off.
I mean, and you look back on this team, VP Polar, essentially here, that was one of their problems.
Yeah.
Is that they were in, but sometimes they were a bit too in. And in this game, like last game, there was 150 HP melee racks and they backed away.
Yeah.
The old VP Polar would never have done that, but the Team Spirit boys in their new reincarnated form, a little bit held back here. They're on the leash, it looks like. Must be that Beaver guy, you know, he's like the brought-in one.
Yeah. Must be. You cracked the code.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Don't know if they'll be able to wait for this Axe BKB.
30 seconds left on Aegis. What do you do? Ooh. Dicey. I like it.
Do you sack the tier 2 if you're Spirit here?
Oh, you look for that perfect dive on the Morphling.
You wait for that tower to be at 10% HP when they're committed for it, and then you jump in and try to pop him. They break the Lincolns. Taking some tower shots. Of course, Crystallize okay to take damage here. General does have the Vlads up now, looking for a blink initiation.
Your F&G wisely thinking out the side, saying, hey, they're in there.
This is smart from Illidan, though. Right now, just farming in the jungle. Spirit, they defend the tower. They make space for their Slark. valuable time for him to continue working his magic in the jungle.
Yeah, and just that slight delay is enough to kill off that Aegis, so a little bit more difficult for Na'Vi to play aggressive.
He might get caught here. He grabs the bounty, but they immediately put down a sentry ward. Fiend's Grip, he has a BKB, but dare I say, not worth it.
Well, you can do the math on it.
And
not worth it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he didn't get his own bounty. He could have just gotten his own and ran away. Yeah.
I guess he probably thought they were all farming back through the Radiant jungle. Didn't expect Morphling to be up there already.
Just didn't expect him to drop a sentry so quickly like that. But Defensive Nightmare on the lean after getting initiated on mid. Nice stomp, but they stopped the Brew from getting off the split with that disruption. Now the split comes, though, after Axe gets stunned. It's a bit of a sloppy fight for Spirit with Slark dead. They don't want to take this anyhow. FNG X, but sidesteps the stun. Meanwhile, Bieber getting chased down mid. Bobo's trying to make it back as G is put to sleep. He pops the BKB. And I think the Cyclone actually saves the Axe. Now a buyback used by Jakiro. The Radiant Courier dies in the fray. Na'Vi maybe overstepping their bounds, but FNG gets popped by the combo of the Morphling. Slark's back in the party. And with the buyback on Jakiro, they might be able to get some cleanup kills here. Morphling gets caught. Velor very low. He'll get finished off by G. Dendi invisible on the run. Force staff to the high ground. He'll be able to survive. Now Lil with the Nightmare. He's going to be the one that gets left and eaten alive by the Slark with his BKB on. So, looked good for Na'Vi, but in the end, they overcommit just a little bit, and Spirit are able to clean up. But with the buyback on Jakiro, not as much of a team net worth gain as you might think. Though, on the flip side, Slark is one of the ones that benefits from that fight.
Yeah, a couple problems there during that one. I think the immolation from the Fire Panda turned off the Nightmare. And so, because there was going to be a connection with the Nightmare right into the boat, but I'm pretty sure it was the Fire Spirit just knocked him out of it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, then he got the BKB off, and he was able to fight. But if they cleaned up that Wind Ranger before BKB, would have been very
totally
different.
Yeah, now Lina gets caught mid. The Blade Mail is there. Follow-up damage is big. Shackle on 2. Secures the kill on Dendi. And Crystallize brought down. Just too much damage for the Morphling to survive. And now Brewmaster into deep. 20 seconds until split. They'll have a Berserker's Call. Yet another Shackle. A power shot and right clicks to the moon as General gets put to sleep.
God,
all
dude.
3 cores of Na'Vi underwater.
The shackle from one target to the other, ignoring the Lincoln Sphere, the defensive itemization of Crystallize negated, and he gets blown up sitting on that low HP.
And now with these 3 heroes down, they're going to continue to press forward. One buyback used. It's on General. He does have the split, also
Dude,
now picking up his drums.
Buying back and buying some drums. He's like, I got to fight. We got to win this. I need anything.
There is a Radiant Glyph, but there's the setup. And it's going to be a dead General. No split. Now the Tier 3 under heavy pressure. Dendi does not have a buyback. There is one available on the Morphling, but with 10 seconds left, he doesn't want to use it. And that might cost him the barracks. Melee, the target of choice. Glyph not going to be used. And Spirit getting away with murder is now Phobos, maybe left behind.
He still has BKB.
He's actually all right. In comes the Morphling. He gets caught by the Ice Path. Now the taunt from Axe. Can the Morphling survive? He does, but Lil not going to be so lucky. Spirit opting to get out while they still can. Range Barracks still standing. Slark Illusions going to work. Just like that, this game swung from Na'Vi's favor to a 6K advantage going the way of Spirit and Elena Barracks.
They're fortunate Morphling didn't just get shackled right there, honestly. I think that was the perfect angle from G. He blinked in and tried to go for the second. I can't believe that didn't reach.
I was thinking he was going to die. That was, he TPs into an Ice Path right on top of the Berserker's Call. Yeah. There was an opportunity there.
Just a little bit outside the range, unfortunately for them. But Na'Vi in trouble, one might say.
A real heartbreaker. I didn't know Tom Petty played on Na'Vi.
It's been there for years.
Yep. This
They're pretty good at this point.
Kind of becoming the Na'Vi Classic, unfortunately. You know, the first game, okay, that got away from him. This was a game that felt like Na'Vi really had control.
The glimmer of hope.
And it's far from
shattered.
It's far from over, Trent. It's still only an 8K net worth lead. Very surmountable for Na'Vi. They're going to move into the Roche
Yeah, but there's
pit.
no DD route. They're crazy.
You're kind of right, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do it quickly enough. Spirit are coming in. Roche at about 1K HP. They got to go now. It's going to be close, but they won't get it. Radiant finish it off, and the Aegis goes the way of Crystallize. Axe jumps in, gets Nightmared straight away. Now the Fiend's Grip. This is such an awkward fight for Spirit. They'll lose Beaver, but Phobos still pretty healthy. Pops his BKB. Disruption not going to be enough to save FNG, and I think Spirit are going to have to head for the hills. The Bruce Split's been used, but not going to be able to catch up, and Phobos will make it back up to the high ground.
Oh, these greedy supports, too. Spending all that Rax money already, no buyback.
Well,
of course, I think they're both. Oh, Jakiro's on timer anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he gets a pass, I suppose.
So, pretty good for Na'Vi. Very risky to run into Roche like that. If Spirit were at all aware, they could have just charged into the pit, and I think that would have been pretty disastrous for Na'Vi. That was a very high-risk play. It does work out for them.
Yeah, they needed something.
Need to acknowledge the amount of risk they assumed there in trying to make a play like that. That's also a 10-second BKB up on the Morphling now. So the key item, Lincoln's and BKB. Scotty queued up next with an Aegis. This is kind of do or die for the Morphling, it feels like.
A lot of pressure on our Axe player here for DK Phobos.
Yep. And as this goes on, though, even though the Morphling scales very well, you look at the net worth, it's basically just 2 cores for Na'Vi. This Brewmaster is turning into a support. And he is going to go for the Aghanim Scepter. At least that's what he's got queued up. Smokes, get broken. Phobos jumps in onto Dendi, but nice defensive Nightmare, not enough, and he gets brought down and slam dunked. They're going to try to go in onto Crystallize, but Slark needs to be a little bit careful. Phobos on the high ground. Lincoln Spheres getting broken left and right. Crystallize forced to BKB here. Another beautiful Nightmare on the Axe to counter-initiate. The boat flies through, but a Shackle connects on Lil, finds that kill, and just like that, it's a twofer for Spirit. Crystallize without a BKB does have to head home. They want this Kunkka. Velor may still get caught. Shackle does not latch, but Slark laying in the right clicks. Connects with a pounce. BKB used. Morphling tries to jump in aggressively, but the dunk connects onto the Kunkka. Now the buyback from Bane. Lil with a TP to the tier 3. Sets up onto FNG. Nightmare versus Disruption. The Nightmare wins. But things, again, looking pretty brutal for Na'Vi, even with the Aegis. It just doesn't matter here, Trent.
Kunkka is such a key part of this high ground defense as well. They have the split, they can delay, but they don't want to just delay. They want to win a fight. You can't win a fight without the Lina, and honestly, even without the Kunkka, I feel like it's going to be very difficult. Those are your 2 heroes that control Slark.
Yeah, they need more than a wash here. Crystallize uses the Morph to try to grab the Morph, or the Wind Ranger, rather. Does still have the Aegis in tow. BKB up in just a couple seconds, but now the initiation. This could be a dieback for Lil. Disruption locks him in place. The Bane will survive for now, but the tier 3 not so lucky.
Almost
Double
time
siege
to leave
creeps.
here.
I think Spirit, I'm with you. I don't think they want to overstay their welcome. And now with that Kunkka up, the high ground defense will get a lot easier for Na'Vi. They've got everything up. This is a fresh fight. BKB is ready to go, but Illidan jumps in onto Velor. He saw the opportunity to bring down the Kunkka, and they'll seize the day.
Huge.
Kunkka dead again. 50 seconds in the grave, no buyback, as now Crystallize desperately trying to hold this. The Fiend's Grip was used, but it gets canceled. That's one less ultimate they'll have at their disposal. Morphling, caught by the Ice Path, but Force Staff keeps him alive. Spirit playing this so well here, Trent. They kill that Radiant Observer, and they're going to go right back to sieging the melee creeps, and they may just get it.
I mean, they have the Aegis, they have the cheese. It's still really tough for Team Spirit to do this. Like,
but they're doing it.
Yeah, it's dicey.
I mean, they're going in and out, and look at DK Phobos just constantly jumping into these fights, finding the initiations. Crystallize does morph into the Jakiro. It keeps him alive. The melee barracks fall. Now the Bruce Splits used. Kunkka up in 10. This is where Spirit needs to be careful. FNG does get brought down. They've started to back up. Phobos kind of left behind, but Beaver's there with a nice Ice Path. G in the tree line. He'll just TP out. They might leave this Axe behind. They give him a Glimmer Cape, doing what damage he can, but Phobos will get brought down by Dendi as the Laguna Blade is utilized. G did just TP to that top lane. So Na'Vi hang on, but they
Yeah.
lose another melee barracks.
Yeah, they just made a call from Spirit. They said, listen, we don't care if we lose a couple heroes, we're committing for the melee racks, and they got it in the end. So I'm down. It was a dangerous attempt there. I mean, that's an Aegis Morphling and a cheese on Lena. That's scary, but Dendy couldn't really find his way until it was, you know, the end of that engagement. He was kind of spamming some Dragon Slaves, and that was about it.
It was a great read from Spirit to continue putting the pressure on, saying, hey guys, you know what? If we give them the initiation with this Aegis cheese, that's how we lose a fight. But if we keep breaking this up, if we keep finding these pickoffs and not letting them take that perfect choreography, it mitigates the power of the Aegis, and just like that, it despawns just shy of 40 minutes. So no more Aegis to deal with. And cheese, is it still standing? You don't think so? Yeah, it's in the inventory of
Dendy still
Dendy.
got it.
Okay.
You might have to hand that over.
Yeah, Crystallize probably the carrier you're going to want. Axe dead for another 25.
Dendy
so
still has his 10-second. Like, he wants to fight if they'll chase. It looks like they're almost trying to bait this out here.
I mean, it's a 4v5. They want to utilize this opportunity as he jumps in on the G but misses the LSA. All right, and back to defense we go. Axe is pulling for buyback there, but decides to buy the Pipe of Insight.
I wanted the heart.
Now
We've been
has a
looking
heart
at that
queued
for
up.
a while.
I mean, he's still got it queued up there.
Yeah.
The heart's coming.
I mean, these fights have been just painful. They stun him, and it's like there's no damage.
Yeah.
Like, he's had an excellent game. Yes, he just went down eventually there,
Yeah, but
giving
that
away
was,
800 gold. But
that
it
was
for
after,
the
what,
racks.
4 minutes of back and forth of him constantly initiating, walking away, counter-initiating, walking away. I mean, his ability to just jump in and out of those fights is hard for this team to deal with.
I think we can all agree we know why the Axe was banned first phase. I feel like this guy plays a pretty mean Axe.
And just a hard hero to play against, too. You know, if you get caught, it's like, well, now what do we do? Pray that we survive and he doesn't get too many counter Helix procs. But Spirit smoked up. They Glimmer Cape the Axe, trying to give Phobos an angle to initiate here. They will get the ranged barracks, compliments of those ranged siege creeps there. Not ranged creeps, siege creeps. And some shrine action here. G. Clicking it down. Aghanim's also up on G. So this is that time when the Wind Ranger starts to transition from core that hits pretty hard to core that can carry the game, all things equal, and has the Daedalus queued up next. So she will start to feel much more like a right-clicking carry in the moments to come.
Yeah, still holding that high ground. Near Navi's base.
Oh, set up on the Lil. Forces the Berserker's call to miss, but this is going to be a freebie on the Bane. Na'Vi just can't find the angle to get in and break up that fight. No buyback available on him. Now Shackle does connect on the Brewmaster. He's got a gem as well as a split. On the other side, Velor gets chased down by Illidan. He buys back straight away. Dendy still with the BKB and cheese. Another disruption. Ice Pass flying all over the place. Crystallize utilizing that morph. They kill that tier 2 tower up top, force a buyback. It's another pretty good fight for Spirit.
Yeah, just keeps on going up.
More economic damage, babe.
Feels like Slark's getting in there now too, right? He's the basher. He's got his Link. He's got his BKB. Yeah. Had a hard time this game.
He's over the hump now.
Yeah.
He really had a tough mid-game, but again, so much credit to Spirit for the way they played that mid-game. They started off very aggressive. They tried to find the kills. Their snowball strategy didn't work, so what did they do? Played defensive, turtled up, bought their BKBs, then started taking the fights that made sense and brought their way back into this game. Beautiful execution.
Question here for Crystallize. Is he going to commit? He's going to keep his buyback. Not going to go for the Scotty.
Smoke gets broken. Phobos actually misses the taunt. Nice use of the Force Staff there, but BKB's used Velor. This will be a dieback if he goes down. Disruption breaks things up a little bit. They lose Bieber on the backside, but BKB Crystal is pretty scary. 1-for-1 so far. Now the Fiend's Grip onto Slark through the BKB. Big damage onto Illidan, but he survives. Not quite. Crystallize able to finish him off. Bruce Split almost done, but it's a huge fight for Na'Vi as they get 3.
Chase begins too.
And they find more. Bieber finds himself invisible with that Glimmer Cape, but there was a Sentry Ward down. Slark does not have buyback, so down for 70. Sign of life from Na'Vi still hoping for that Roche, but not up quite yet.
Yeah, if they saw the Basher, they'll probably know he doesn't have buyback. I would think they might just assume he was saving it anyway. Generally, when a team has taken 2 racks, you kind of always assume their core is going to have buyback.
Yeah.
So, I would certainly be assuming it if I was on the side of Navi.
It feels like a fair assumption. Brewmaster, I like the way he's done this. He has the Ags queued up, but just bought the Ogre Axe. We'll see Bane get initiated on. There's the setup, and Lil will go down. Easy kill for Spirit. Double damage on Jakiro, but honestly, all about the shackles there. But anyway, Brew keeping his options open, saying, hey guys, I could get this Aghanims, but I think I might need the BKB.
Yeah, I don't really like Ags, personally.
I don't.
It's like,
what's the temptation? Is it just for burst? Like,
it's a lot more damage. It's when the game gets late, you're permanently in your ultimate. So, and by that logic, then you want the one thing that really buffs your ultimate. Like, auras are good, but once you hit 25, you're the pandas, you know?
Right.
So I can get that. But BKB, you can't get to the pandas if you're dead. So buy a BKB.
Now, I am far from a Brewmaster aficionado, but if you want to commit to the Aghanims build, wouldn't you normally go for the primal split health at level 20, or do you always get attack speed?
No, that is true. You would generally get the 1500 primal split.
Because, like you're saying, you go for that 65 split cooldown ultimate, and the whole idea is you're in panda form, so I'm a little confused, but it looks like he might have just called an audible here, because he did commit to the BKB, and now very far away from the Aghanims. So it may end up working out that he did go for that attack speed.
Yeah, that's a really tough one to choose because the 100% or the 100 attack speed is just all the time you're not fighting, you're farming so much faster.
Yes, it's a pretty incredible talent. But 15, what's the normal HP on the pandas? 1500 adds a lot.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's
might double something like that.
You need it in that late game too. It's just so much stronger. But
especially once minus armor items come out, that's one of the traditional kind of counters to the pandas.
So despite the death of the Slark earlier, hasn't really phased them. Still at a 9K lead. Have the Aegis. Have the cheese. And where's our...
It's on Jakiro. The
there it is.
Shard. Yeah. So easy.
Interesting. He could just put the red carpet down, buddy.
Well, they didn't get the first
team
two,
in,
but they got the third one that really matters.
Yeah. Give me the double macro pyre.
Yep.
Invite yourselves in.
A glyph is available for the Radiant, so they can make this hold. Buyback status, what do we got? Not too much, but they do have it on some of the big cores. Morphling and Alina, kind of the big two. Bane also has his back available now as Phobos.
General's the big one who's missing.
Yep. Phobos does use the BKB.
Yeah, he did not want to go into that X.
It's a good use of the BKB, but does delay the push a bit more.
I wouldn't mind F&G trying to bait with one of these Axe Illusions, but he's just going to run it in. Just keep the wave going.
Yep. Keep chipping at this tower, do as little damage you can, and another 80 damage onto it or so. Slow and steady. But the irritating thing about Shadow Demon when you have two lanes of barracks like this, you can slowly whittle them down, and it is very hard to glyph against. Na'Vi with limited options here basically have to wait for Spirit to make a mistake that they can capitalize on.
Yeah, and that relies on a invisibility initiation, honestly, and they're pretty well set here.
Cheeky play with the Brewmaster to jump out like that.
Damn sentries.
I know, both sides.
Everywhere.
I mean, this is a defining moment of this game. Whoever catches this initiation very well could win this fight and ultimately could win this match. So vision, so important. But I feel like Spirit just have more options. They are slowly whittling this tower down, and Phobos can continue to keep playing this back and forth, and it just takes one misstep from a Na'Vi support for him to find a catch, and then Spirit can take this fight. And well, that might be the tide turner that they were waiting for.
Yeah. The
rune of many wins, as we used to call it.
He can't get too cocky, though. There's all these sentries down from Na'Vi, basically protecting Dendi, trying to give him...
Look at this, though. Dendi's out of range of the sentries. He gets shackled and destroyed. Buyback is available, but Dendi dies in the blink of an eye.
Gone in up top, though.
Bruce Split's been used. Bieber does survive. Phobos pops his BKB. Crystallize, uses the morph, becomes Axe, and they do make a hold. Wind Ranger now stunned up after the buyback from Dendi. He'll go ahead and use his BKB. Bruce Split almost done. Slark will lose the Lincolns, and now General back into Panda form. Remember, it's a long cooldown. He's not yet level 25.
He's got a waveform call, though, and they're right down there. It's tempting.
He's thinking about it. Instead, just grabs the Slark, but it's not even close to enough damage. Now the Fiend Strip. Illidan still able to survive after taking the Laguna Blade on top of it all. Tier 3 tower still just getting chipped away by these illusions. Spirit playing this so controlled, slow and steady. 500 HP left on the tower. Crystallize in general.
G's going for another side swipe here potentially. He's cleaning out that wave.
Tier 3 is starting to fall though, Trent. It just feels like Na'Vi can't hold this against the slow siege between the burn from the Jakiro, all the illusions.
They need some huge like freehand torrent or something to break this open, but the save from the Shadow Demon just being there makes it difficult.
One pick on Dendi. This game pretty much ends. Phobos finds it on the side. It's General. The Brewmaster gets brought down. He'll have the buyback, but still no brew split. Now the Shackle connects on Lil. Bane's dead. Buyback used straight away. Dendi, Abyssal Blade flies from the heavens. He'll pop the cheese, and he does live. Brew split up in 5. General should be able to survive through it as Phobos is actually getting pretty darn low. Tanks the Laguna, and he will go down. Spirit might need to back up, but a Shackle on 2. Dendi brings down FNG, but now Velor dies. Brew Split's been utilized. G could be in some trouble. Buyback now used by the Kunkka. It'll be a dead G. Jakiro put inside of the Cyclone. He's likely to fall as well. A lot of buybacks available on Spirit. Well, 2 out of the 4 at least.
Yeah, they lose their gem too.
Pressure down bottom. Tier 4 tower almost goes down. They got the Tier 3. At the end of the day, it's not really a win for Na'Vi.
I mean, it is gold-wise, but obviously 3 buybacks just means when they march back down,
right? I mean,
problems.
Sort of, right? They do get a net worth gain out of that fight, but they got the Tier 3 tower, not counted in that. They got that kill on Dendi before, not counted in that. Dendi bought back, also not counted in that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And they might get this kill on Slark, though. This is a big kill, and they will find it. It's a full 5-man wipe. All 5 of Spirit end up in the grave.
Oh.
So maybe I spoke too soon, my friend. Is it a win for Na'Vi?
I don't know. It's 2 lanes down. It takes a while to push out, but they're running and gunning hard down the mid lane.
It's showing a sign of life, at least.
He doesn't know what to do. General's thinking about it. You must go for the split cooldown, right? It's just too good.
I think you have to. The Brawler
All right,
chance
yeah, we're in there. We're in there. So now that is one thing to get out of that fight. Although there was buybacks in gold, he got a ton of experience, like 3,500 or something stupid. Like that put General into the 25.
So Slark does not have buyback. He's short 10 gold, and he's probably going to have it here. Yeah, he certainly will before the cooldown's done with that passive gold gain. So his buyback now becoming available.
Now this is huge. The siege from the Earth Panda is actually a big deal. Like that guy can beat down some towers. That's through a Crimson Guard.
Yeah, it hits really hard. That Demolish adding extra bonus damage to structures, but he's about to lose his Brew Split. Needs to be a little careful. Even with that short cooldown, there is a little window where he will be in Panda form. It's about 15 seconds.
He's got to be regretting that a little bit on the talent, though. Like
the HP?
Yeah. It's hard.
He still has that Aghanims queued up. Shackle actually does latch on the Morphling. Follow-up could be there, but not quite. FNG goes out too deep, and this is going to cost the Shadow Demon his life. No buyback available on the Shadow Demon, 30 gold short. Tier 3 tower mid has gone down. There's 2 lanes of barracks exposed. This Brew Split is so hard to stop in terms of the sieging. You're absolutely right about that. But Slark is back up now. Did not use his buyback, but spent his gold. Now they catch Lina. This is going to be a dieback for Dendi. He's out of the game for 2 full minutes. BKBs have been used.
Yeah, that just can't happen, man.
Yep.
Head BKB, head Sight, head Shadow Blade, head Yules, head Hurricane Pike, just dead.
And Kunkka caught by the Abyssal Blade. He's going to get brought down. That's going to be a dieback for him. And, well, there was a moment there where it seemed great for Na'Vi. Crystallize now on the run, low on HP, looking for the damage. See you later. Buyback from the Morphling, but Spirit marching up the mid. They've got 75 seconds of a full 5v3. Hard to imagine Na'Vi holding off this death march.
Yeah, I'm going to take some big plays from the Panda Master here.
Brutal stuff. You're absolutely right, though. Dendi with so many items, so many options, so much mobility. Still gets caught. But Spirit playing this somewhat cautiously. There is still a glyph on the Radiant. They only have 1 tier 4. So need to be very thoughtful about how they choose to glyph this.
Jeez. That Jakiro with a 30% XP gain, he's got the plus 1.25 second ice path, which is very painful for Morphling.
Yep, that's a huge duration stun. So Mega Creeps now secured. Some slow siege on that tier 4. Jakiro throwing the liquid fire. General jumps in, maybe looking for a Bruce split, but Dual Scepter interrupts it. BKB as he comes back down, but stun, the split does still go off. Nice grip onto the axe in the back line, but Crystallize, no BKB. This Morphling could be the target that they bring down. However, the Scotty doing a lot of work against Illidan. Slark able to pounce away, and now the damage is there. Crystallize getting very low, forced a waveform defensively. Kunkka has respawned. Dendi coming up very soon.
Yeah, they got to get out.
Spirit will not finish the game here, but Mega's tier 4 tower barely standing. Spirit are in great shape. There is also Roche number 4 ready. So Aegis, Cheese, Refresher should be pretty easy for the Dire to snag.
Ooh. Yeah, cooldown's just becoming a little bit of an issue in there. No BKBs left.
Hey,
Everyone's
speaking
out
of
of mana.
cooldowns,
Yeah.
Octarine on Axe.
Okay.
Now that's not an item you see too often.
He gets a little bit of life steal going on, right?
So yeah, you life steal from your counter Felix. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Got to get that Aghanim Scepter for the Culling Blade, placing the Battle Hunger.
Trent,
I mean, think of the
He got the
HP.
120 Battle Hunger thing, and it's a 4-second cooldown. That's actually kind of cool. I don't know if it's really going to matter.
He needs the eggs.
But it's kind of cool.
Clearly.
Is the Battle Hunger DPS really better than the Berserker's Call AoE in this game? The level 25 talent on Axe?
I mean, I don't think he's really looking for the +1. He just catches Morphling, so.
It's true, but there's been a couple, like with the force stabs and stuff, there's been a few calls that were right on the edge. And can't help but feel like that could be the difference maker. You know, if you catch that call, that's the setup that wins the game.
I'm a little surprised. I feel like it's
I mean, it's even
pretty
using
hard
Battle
to get off
Hunger
Battle
in these
Hunger.
fights. Like,
Hey, man, the move speed's good.
sure.
Now it actually does something. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it's a lot per second.
Yeah.
That adds up.
Well, we'll see if it makes any kind of a difference here. He jumps in, he finds the taunt onto the Morphling, but Force Staff keeps it alive. BKB used by Illidan. He's trying to throw in the right clicks.
Dude, look at that Kunkka. He's like dying.
Yep. Creeps pushing in. The Brew has split. He's heading out far out of the base, trying to repel Spirit. Phobos getting slowed down by the Scotty, but it's just so hard for Na'Vi to push out of the base. They have to defend against these creeps, and Spirit know it. Just trying to get them to waste these resources, focus on creeps so they can counter-initiate. Phobos has the cooldowns available, but another nice Nightmare, but the other way, it's a banish onto the Bane. Force Staff still on the ice path. That level 25 Jakiro talent making all the difference in the world, but Crystallize on the back line, he's all by himself, does try to bring down FNG. They go 1-for-1. G gets brought down as well, but he's got the Aegis coming back to life. General with another Brew split. Na'Vi are hanging on here, and it looks like G could go down, but a huge call from Phobos. Illidan jumps back in. He's been isolated in the Cyclone, but they bring down Crystallize. No buyback on the Morphling, and this looks like it's the end for Na'Vi. The glyph is used, only 2 heroes remaining. G has fought back to get into this fight. Lena caught by the ice path, the macro fire, the death for Dendi as he buys back. The Mega Creeps pushing in, BKBs used for good measure. But Na'Vi's hopes of starting out in the upper bracket now extinguished as Spirit will knock them down 2-0 in this best-of-3 series. GG is called.
Wow. Hey, man, if Team Spirit winning means I get to watch more DK Phobos, I am down.
Yeah.
That axe completely out of control. I feel like this guy's been gone for a while, you know? We lost DK Phobos 2014, 2015. He was the man. Yeah. This guy was insane. Played his Brewmaster. He played like core Spirit Breaker. Do you know what this guy did? He played core offlane Zeus, and he built first item BKB, and he had like 17, 18 minutes. The guy was wild. No one knew what he was doing.
Phobos is a badass.
He's back.
That's
He's good.
The only way to
He's winning
say it.
games.
An incredible game, though, for multiple reasons. One, Na'Vi looked a lot better. There was a moment in that game when they were down, they brought it back even, they threw it away again, but still some moments where Na'Vi actually found their footing. Also, just well played by Spirit. We mentioned it a few times, their ability to take that passive mid-game, get those BKBs. Even at the end, that was not an easy siege for Spirit, but they still did it very slow, very controlled. respecting the power of the Morphling at that stage and just not making it easy for Crystallize. That was a hard game for Crystallize across the board.
Yeah. No, I'm impressed. I'm more impressed with Team Spirit, and for good reason, because they won. So that means they'll be moving on.
And moving on to the next series against Newbie. So now Navi starting in the lower bracket. This last series of the day coming up next, Spirit versus Newbie. This is a big decider. The winner going in the upper bracket, the loser going down to the lower bracket. So fair bit on the line here, Trent.
Yes. Stick around.
Stick around indeed.
We'll
We're going to have a short break. I'm Zyori. He's Trent. And